FX Morning Mayhem podcast is an essential listen for currency traders. Each episode covers a curated watch list of key currency pairs alongside insightful market observations. It highlights crucial daily news events that could influence the market, ensuring traders are well informed. Additionally, the podcast offers valuable trading strategy tips, catering to both new and experienced traders in the Forex market. This podcast is for educational purposes only. None of this info should be construed as investment advice. To see the trades called out live for free on our Slack channel, click the link in the description or scan the QR code to join the trade faction. If you find this podcast valuable, please follow and share with a friend. And now, on with the show.
Okay, let's start with the instruments. But before I do the instruments, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because I get this question actually both from the comments in the YouTube videos and the comments in the Slack channel, which is, what the hell are you doing, Bill? Because they don't know what this system is. And all they see is lines and dots and boxes, and it does not look like anything else out there. So they're like freaking out. So let me go through this. Maybe I should do this once a week or something, just as a review or whatever. So this is the Syzygy Trade IQ system. It will be offered as a signal soon. I'm still making sure that all the little squeaks and bugs and moths are shaken out of it before I release it into the wild. But here's how it works. So you have three basic concepts you need to understand. Number one, what's the trend? Well, this line tells you the trend. It tells you both from an angular standpoint and it tells you from a color standpoint that this is an uptrend. You can just visually look at it and immediately know that it's an uptrend. So that's the first concept you need to understand. Then the second concept is this concept, which is the phase of the wave. So if you think about the ocean, you have the tide going out, but while the tide's going out, you got all these little waves going up and down and up and down and up and down. That's what the phase of the wave is. So if I have the tide going out, I want to catch the phase when the wave is starting to flip from going down to back up. Okay, so that's what a long wave phase is. So that's step number two. One, figure out the trend. Two, figure out. And number three, the sweet spot. Well, what is the sweet spot? Well, the sweet spot was a long, arduous excursion into the area of artificial intelligence, specifically image classification, where I took a whole crap ton of pictures of charts and put them into a giant database and then trained a model to look for what I call a profitable pattern. Once it identified the most frequent pattern, that actually became a pretty trivial programming exercise to build into the algorithm. And that's what paints these little dots. And the difference between the dots is a much stronger sweet spot than a little dot. Okay, so kind of keep that with a grain of salt. So one, figure out the trend. Two, figure out the phase of the wave. Three, wait for a sweet spot that forms. Then get into your trade, whether that's a long or short, depending on what direction the price is going in. Now, a couple of ancillary pieces of information. The inception zone means that I kind of figured out there's a zone where these things work really good, and that's what this is all about. So when it's in the inception zone, all three planets line up, that's probably going to turn out to be a pretty good trade. The other thing that you need to understand here is this concept of amplitude. Amplitude is like how loud are your speakers? The lower the number, the quieter the music, the higher the number, the louder the music. So you kind of want to be in the range of around 15 or 20 and under 100. And that way you can listen to the music without getting your ear balls blown out. And then this last concept here is hyperextension. And what hyperextension is all about is, think of it as a rubber band and a nail. So price is attached to a nail and it gets stretched one way or the other very far. That's what I call hyperextended. So usually it's going to spring back from that pretty violently. And if you're in that area, let's say, prices was going up and you got in a long position here, but it's very hyperextended here, there's a really good chance it's going to whipsaw you back down and make you lose money. So when things are hyperextended, I ignore them. So hopefully that was a decent explanation of how that all works. All right, let's get back to today's work. All right, so here are the instruments starting with Aussie New Zealand dollar. And now that you all know what this means, we're in a downtrend. We're in a short wave phase, but we're not in the zone. And so there's nothing to do here. Aussie US dollar, we are in a long trend. We are in the zone and we are in a long wave phase. So we're waiting for a long sweet spot to form here to take a trade. Euro Canadian dollar, we are in an uptrend. We are in a long wave phase. We are in the zone. Same thing, waiting for a sweet spot to form. So we'll just be patient there. Pound Canadian dollar, we are in an uptrend. We are in the zone and we are in a long. I actually took this trade this morning. Did you take this trade, Dave?
Oh no, I was sleeping at 3 a.m.
Actually, I was also, but I was up at 5 and it had pulled back to the entry. So I got in it again and I was able to carve out about 12 pips on this. So it was nice. All right, New Zealand US dollar. This is an uptrend in the zone, long phase. We are waiting for a sweet spot. Singapore dollar, Swissy franc, uptrend, zone, long phase, waiting for a sweet spot. USD, Canadian dollar, downtrend, zone, short wave phase, looking for a short, waiting for a sweet spot. USD, Swissy franc, downtrend in a zone, short wave phase, waiting for a sweet spot again here. Anyway, so news today is what do we got? Flash manufacturing numbers at 8:45, existing home sales, and U of M consumer sentiment. So we got a lot of stuff that could potentially move the markets later this morning. So that's where the news is at. And then let's move on to market insights. Dave, do you have any chickens
No, go fish.
plucking around your yard? Oh, neither do I, but the reason that I asked that, did you know that there was a avian influenza crisis? Wholesale egg prices have reached a record high of $5.4 a dozen. I'm actually not sure about that because I don't really pay attention to the price of eggs when I buy them, but I will now. They're saying in the Midwest, eggs are $6 a dozen. Over the past 30 days, 15 million birds have caught this flu. Pluckers are coughing up a storm. 20 million hens have died. All major production systems, including conventional caged, cage-free, certified organic types, they've all been whacked by this pretty good. Some retailers are limiting egg purchases. I haven't seen this, but maybe in some areas that's a thing.
So you're telling me it's an existential crisis?
Very good. It's Cluck Mageddon. Anyway, the Mucky Mucks are saying that prices will continue to rise 11%. And consumers should consider alternatives such as building their own chicken coops or sourcing eggs from local farms. So I do know a few farmers around here that sell eggs. So
yeah, I mean they're a little bit more expensive, but
yeah,
they're always pretty good.
Well, my grandma used to have a farm in Indiana, and every time I went there, she'd load me up on eggs. So she always had chickens, and those eggs are so much better than the ones you buy in the store. I just can't even go on to explain to people what the difference is.
They're a deeper yolk and tastier.
Yes, exactly. Because those chickens just used to walk around the yard and eat the grass and bugs. My wife wouldn't eat those eggs. I was like, "You're out of your mind." She's like, "They're dirty." I said, that's why they're good.
They're not supposed to. What do you mean? They come other than white?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
so totally irrational. But hey, I said, all right, I don't care. I'll eat them all.
Yeah.
So, all right. That is all I have for today.